This is so color corrected that the sand basically looks like glowing Breaking Bad meth. Good evening, human beings, which I am one of. My name is Video Editor today, putting on my superhero cape and becoming the video editor Elias. It's not super or heroic, but it is authentic. I have been video editing for like as long as I can remember, basically. I mean, I guess you could say like I first started doing video editing, kind of video editing adjacent stuff by doing like Flash animations when I was about 10 or 11. So yeah, quite a while now. But anyway, this video isn't about me, or I guess it kind of is, but it's not really about me. It's about what our boy Jungkook has done with a camera, some software, and it's nothing pornographic or horrible like that. It's lovely, lovely artistic film work. And what I try and do is just break it down, analyze some of the editing techniques, the color choices, the stuff, professional word stuff, word salad professional, which I know and am one of professional one, me, professional, yes. It's going well, this reaction going well. So yeah, if you would like to see me react to a video, this is going horribly. Let's get past that bit. Forward wind. 10 blocks of cheese. So what I'm trying to do here today is break down this video in a video editor's style and way, and I'm trying to do the whole G.C.F series like this, and beyond that I'm also willing to do more K-pop songs, whatever songs, music videos, anything you guys suggest as the video editor persona. So if that sounds good to you, subscribe, like the video, talk to me in the comments because no one else will, and let's do this thing. This is G.C.F in Saipan, which I probably said wrong, because I assumed, because I'm just an ignorant, look at me. But I assumed it, like, I was like, I was like, which Asian country is that? But it's actually an island, I think, part of the US Commonwealth. Geography wasn't great in the school I went to, and my brain wasn't great either. So anyway. See, I think this one came out a few weeks after the one before it, and we straight away we got Jungkook's kind of like dreamy, like retro, kind of like washed out 70s style, leading off again with a nice fade in from a Gaussian blur. And I can tell, being a video editor nerd, he hasn't turned on, I think it's called like duplicate edges or extend blur to edges, something like that. There's a feature you can turn on with that very filter. I'm guessing he did this in Adobe Premiere, where you can make this black bar go away if you want. It's kind of a cool effect, because right now it looks kind of like a vignette, like it looks like the screen is faded in as well, like it works in this kind of thing. See, this is the kind of analysis you want. It's still at 0 seconds and I have stuff to say. Oh, this is going to be a long video presumably. I'll try and hold back. But yeah, nice slow Gaussian blur, which looks like a nice defocus. And this is a really lovely shot. He's got a very nice, very expensive camera, but a really lovely shot of the sun bursting through leaves here. I'm all about this kind of cinematography. I haven't used this kind of thing too much. There's a few projects I've used actually, maybe like 1 or 2 where like I've gone for a shot with like the sun bursting from behind something. It's just like, it's a very evocative, like warm, summery feel, which this last couple of videos have had, I think. And the colors, like kind of like gently crushed, like slightly washed out. They're not bland colors. There's just something about them. Like he's kind of like, I think he's like up the pinks a bit maybe, and maybe like a slight bit of desaturation, or the contrast has been slightly flattened. Like, I really like what he does with colors. It's like very, very interesting. It's very antithetical. Is that a word? It's kind of like opposite, adjacent to my kind of color style, but I really like it. I mean, let's face it. When I say it's different to my style, I'm basically saying he has more style than me, color-wise. Oh well. 16, you were on my arm, then you moved to the... Who is in the polka dot? Well, I'm not going to guess from the back of the head. Wait, wasn't that Jungkook himself? Because I think sometimes he gets the other guys to take videos of himself, so he can cameo. It's like what Quentin Tarantino does, but far less shameful. Shame on you, Quentin Tarantino, for many reasons. Again, I always feel like Jungkook is so particular that he just makes them wear clothing to match the background, because I'm loving the contrast of this darker blue on the light blue of the sea here.
hide no more. I don't wanna lie no more. Now that I feel you, I'ma let you get
I think that's Jimin. I'm getting better at identifying the names, but I'm still going to get it wrong, because it's me. I get my own mother's name wrong sometimes. She deserves it. But yeah, I'm just really loving the whole... That's great. Everything BTS do is just so fun. Like, I feel like it's hard to be sad or like... Or even just like, meh, watching a BTS video, because they're just having so much fun.
get the best of me.
I love that syncing there. See that? You don't even need a transition there. Just a hard cut, but it works so well. The lovely cut from stationary to raving your pants off. Food is a big part of their life and the G.C.F episodes.
I'ma let you get the
Another gorgeous shot. I mean, look at that. There's a lot going on here, but I mean, this is really cool. I don't know if that was staged or put there as in, for the shot. But what is very deliberate and very beautiful right here is the lining up of the sunlight or the sun. What's the science word I'm thinking of? Sunset. That's right. The setting sun, or maybe rising sun. The reflection on the water, just literally perfectly. You could draw a line from here to here, just perfectly lined up with these flower bushes here. Like, it takes a real talented eye to make shots this pretty. Like, they just symmetrically are so pleasing. Like, look at the symmetry. If you drew lines on here, which I guess I could do in After Effects. Oh, I don't think I've used After Effects for one of my reactions yet. This would be a new low or high for me as far as making myself do work. I'll do it. You know what? I'll draw some lines, hopefully, on here in After Effects. And if you don't agree with me, future video editor watching this, editing this, then just cut this bit out. That's fine. But yeah, line here, line here, line here, line here, little lines here, like two strange alien bosoms. It's just, very symmetrically pleasing, and I'm sure if there's a way you could break this down into the whole rule of thirds thing of photography, it would score 3 out of 3. I think that's how the rule of thirds works.
best of me.
Oh, okay, alright, and now, so we've just gone from like very cool camera work to very cool video work, very cool editing work. This is a definite upgrade for Jungkook, I would say. The syncing here is immaculate. I love the way the screen just twitches in time to the music. Maybe I'll try playing this back in like 50% speed. Like, this is him really starting to get creative with the software, which I love. This is my kind of jam. And his speed ramps are much more smooth here. Like, speed ramps have always been cool and never bad, but like, obviously he started out technically a beginner, but way better than the beginner should be. And now he's like, I guess, like an amateur, or not amateur, but like hobbyist, but again, way better than a hobbyist should be. That's Jungkook's style, which is why I resent him so much. Just immensely talented. But I love this speed ramp here and the blur effect he put on it. That looks like a nice place. I've been to one of those places once before in my life. I didn't pay for it, obviously. It was fun. It was nice. That was a very different time from now. How gangster basically is RM for wearing a freaking hat, and this kind of like cold weather hat, or English weather hat, I would say, in what looks like a tropical paradise. The man has forehead sweat glands of steel.
Waking up next to you.
Kind of interesting color change up here. We have quite a subdued, like dark, again, very, very pink tint, like nighttime. And then this perhaps signifies a new day because we're going into more of a bluish, kind of like more bright light, harsh look. Still slightly washed out, that's his style.
Back in my arms.
But this is what you can do with editing, like stylistically. You wouldn't necessarily think about this just watching this as, a lay person, but, just the subconscious effect of going from sort of purple colors to blue colors really suggests towards a day changing, a night having passed very nicely. So I think we've got J-Hope here. Let me know if I'm wrong. That wasn't video editing related, just me trying to learn their names.
I'm loving in the dark. We
Once again, blue shirts and blue oceans.
this feeling.
Jungkook knows what gets me going. Are they attending a cave wedding? What's going on here?
Don't wanna hide no more.
Wow, a beautiful location. I mean, the great thing about this kind of location is it's basically impossible to get a bad shot at a place like this. But obviously, as we saw earlier, Jungkook still races the game.
Now that I feel you.
All right, Jimin is having way too much fun with. Man, this is how long I've been inside for. I'm basically a cave person. What's that thing called where you take a picture and it comes out immediately? Not the internet or Snapchat, the old version of Snapchat. Oh, I'm just gonna have to Google this. This is embarrassing. Or maybe it isn't. Maybe this proves that I'm secretly very young and very cool. It doesn't. Instant picture camera print thing. Fujifilm Instax. I know Instax is a brand. Polaroid. Okay, Polaroid is the brand. They did the job. They did the thing that every brand aspires to, which is they made their brand the word or the verb or the noun or whatever. So he's taken a Polaroid with his Instax camera, having way too much fun. Like what? I've never had that much fun with any camera. And again, I wasn't in Saipan, so.
Get the best of me.
See, that was a cool shot. The only way that shot could have been improved was with drone technology. Blah, blah. Just using a drone, basically. There's nothing special about it these days. The guys can definitely afford one. Otherwise, this shot was pretty cool. But yeah, if there had been a drone shot here, it would have been even cooler, because he wouldn't have had to stop basically at the sand. That's kind of like an awkward cut there at the sand.
The best of me.
And they're wearing blue. They're all wearing blue. Blue is shorts, or it's the color correction. Like, this is, and I like this kind of thing. Like, you know, there's absolutely nothing wrong with this, but this is so color corrected that the sand basically looks like glowing, you know, Breaking Bad meth, like radioactive ice meth. It's, you know, it's so color corrected, but that's a very deliberate style. It's a very dreamy, like glowy. I think you might actually have some glow filters on here. I think in the past I've just kind of like, I've not wanted to commit and be like, yeah, he's definitely put some glow, like a glow effect on it, because you can get that just by having like, you know, like a frosted effect. Certain lenses can kind of do that, or like really saturating the colors, really cranking the colors up in editing software. But this is so dreamy and everything. Like, it looks a bit like a glow. I think there's a glow effect on here. All my eyes are going. It probably could be that too. Oh, see, this is how you know you've made it. This is how you know you're a billionaire, when you have your own very own hand fan on the beach. I don't have a hand fan. They're all wearing blue. Okay, well, to be fair, you guys have said in the past that the reason they're all color coordinated is because they were doing an interview. So maybe that's the reason. Or maybe you guys just can't admit that Jungkook is such a video genius, he would tell, and such a control freak maybe, that he would tell all the BTS members what to wear. Because, you know, right now, I think this is V. Is that V? Whoever, you know, the man I think is V is basically wearing like alternate universe Where's Wally outfit, or Where's Waldo, whatever Americans call him. Like, if Waldo is Mario, then this is Luigi right here. There's something very interesting going on here, I think. I could be wrong, because this is one of those effects that I would do. It's so specific and small, it might not be anything, but that's kind of the best stuff sometimes. Like, the most visually pleasing stuff is stuff you don't even notice. Obviously, your brain notices it, but you don't directly notice, oh, this is what they've done there. I mean, like, this almost seems like this looks a bit like blue screen. There's just something about this that looks a bit like blue screen. Like, look at the background here, and look at how the background pans and then just stops dead. The other thing it could be is that RM is just, this is actually probably what it is now. I think I've deciphered it. I confused myself in my own brain. But RM is such a, you know, dancing wizard that he's basically spinning at about 10,000 RPM. So when Jungkook applies a really like intense like slowdown effect to it, like, you know, it slows it down to like 10% or whatever, that it basically gives this like kind of crazy effect where if you look at the C here, you can tell, I can tell by the motion that the shot has been kind of slowed down. Because suddenly it stops perfectly, but the C is, you see that, it's barely moving. To achieve an effect like this, you either have to be filming at a high frame rate. It could be 60 frames a second, I don't know. That's often not enough frames to slow something down where it will look really cool. There are also plugins you can use to do this if you guys are curious, or you're aspiring editors yourselves. There are plugins like, I'm gonna have to Google it. I've been in Zords too long. I don't know. I know what I'm thinking of. I just, see, I love Google. I can type something out with my caveman brain. I was like, After Effects slow down plugin, and it gave it straight away, Twixtor. Twixtor is something I've used before. It's an incredibly powerful tool that basically generates phantom frames. It just uses data science and mad wizard labs to basically invent frames between frames. Let's say you have a film where you're filming at 30 frames per second, but you want to slow it down 4 times. Wait, and again, why am I trying to make myself do maths? Not 4 times, that's, let's say you slow it down 3 times, you now have 10 frames a second, and 10 frames a second looks really bad. If that maths is wrong, it probably is. I'm sorry. Like, just it's late for me. I don't know why I'm talking about this stuff. But if you have a camera, 30 frames per second, you slow it down 3 times, you now have 10 frames per second, or something like that. That kind of logic. And 10 frames per second looks really bad. If those of you don't know, most movies, pretty much every film you'll see at the cinema is 24 frames per second. Yeah, 24 frames per second. And that is considered basically like the low end of what is okay for moving pictures, for videos, for movies, basically. I know some animations use 15 frames per second or 20 frames per second to kind of give like a kind of deliberate, kind of like flickery look. But for like human video with people, 10 frames a second is a slideshow, which is why a 60 frames a second camera, let's say you slow it down twice, you still have 30 frames a second, so it still looks perfectly smooth, even though it's been slowed half. So it could just be that he's filming at 60 frames a second. Maybe he's filming at like 120, I don't know. If somebody like Jungkook obviously is clever enough and inventive enough to do this, you can, if you want a shot like this, you can think to yourself, okay, I want a cool like slow down shot. I'm going to change my camera settings to 120 frames a second. I feel like I'm going too in-depth here, but I've started, so I'll finish. Because basically, you don't want to record a shoot at 120 frames a second the whole time, because that basically reduces the image quality. You know, you guys notice that, like if on your iPhone, like if you put on like the ultra slow-mo video thing, it looks pretty rubbish compared to normal video. It's the same principle here. So, you know, until it's like 20 years in the future and we have like robot eyes that can film at like, you know, 20K in, you know, 2000 frames per second. But for right now, this tangent's gone on way too long, because I could even be wrong. The other explanation, there's 3 explanations here. I think the slowdown one is most likely. One explanation is that, yeah, he filmed RM on blue screen and just had him twirl and then put it in, and then filmed a separate shot of the beach, which also would work, but the lighting looks way too consistent. Like, I'm pretty sure that he's there. I think the slowdown one is most realistic. The other one, the most insane one, would be if he, like... And the reason I thought this at first is because there's a strange glow around him, which is a bit suspicious. So I thought it's possible that what he'd done is he'd basically, like, used masking, as in, like, frame by frame, cut out around RM. So then, which means he could have RM continue at a certain speed, or like he could have RM be the same speed while he slows down the background. And again, that would look very, very cool. I don't think that's what he'd done, just because in my head it's like, that is insanity. Like that, the level of effort and work that would take. Like, masking is a nightmare, honestly, even with After Effects too. Well, After Effects can make it easier. It's possible he did that. I'm suspicious because there's kind of like a blue tinge around him, but that could just be like the lighting or something. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a slowing thing, because if you look at when he spins, the actual motion of the shot and the waves move too, I think. So I think it's a slowing down thing. I think I'm just overthinking it there. But again, I've probably spent 5 minutes talking about like literally 1 second of video, but that's how much of a video nerd I am, and that's what good video editing is like. And there's so many different ways of doing good video editing, so that's not like a specific or exclusive concept. But as far as like effects work and just syncing especially, because right here, like this is another aspect of amazing syncing. The kind of bunny little thing happens right as he spins. Nice effect. But just the whole thing, obviously this is what happens with video, is you'll make an effect and you'll watch it back 40 times to make sure it kind of works, and then on the 40th time it's like when you say a word like hamburger too many times, by the end you're like hamburger, you're like, what, that doesn't mean anything, what does that mean? This is kind of the same thing. Because here I am 7 minutes later still talking about the same effect, and now I'm watching it, I'm just like, what? I forgot what that felt like the first time. I forgot the feelings it gave me. But this is the genius. This is why I'm such a video nerd, and I'll always love video editing, and I'll always find myself randomly inspired to edit video stuff, because just stuff like this. Like, honestly, on the face of it, I think, you know, if you use speed ramping, this is quite a simple effect, but it's amazing, you know. It can make me sit back and be like, wait, how did he do that? Try and break it down, fail a few times, spend about 7 minutes talking about it, infuriating all my viewers. You know, it's like, that's the power of video. And I didn't sell it very well, but I think it's a good thing. I just love what he's done here. Like, even I can't be fully sure what he's done. I think it's all just like, just crazy color corrections, some glow effects still, like, you know, I think there's definitely glow in here because it's just too like surreal. But with the glow effects, and also the glow would explain like the outline I saw around RM earlier, that made me suspicious that there was masking involved, that there was cutting out and pasting in involved. But just what, like, this just looks so surreal, like, and I really appreciate the visual style he's going for, because in the other videos, there was definitely a surreal quality to them, but it was more like, oh, here's summertime, here's whatever. But this, it's like, I don't know, the way he used color is just so inspired, I think, because, you know, it makes perfect sense. Think about it. Like, this is them on some surreal, like, once in a lifetime, you know, beautiful, beautiful island, you know, the kind of place where if you come from, like, a mainland country, you're only going to go, like, a handful of times in your life. Like, that is a surreal experience, an experience that stands out to you. And that is exactly what the vibe of the video gives off. I mean, just look at this. It doesn't look real. Like, I'm sitting there being like, is RM actually in this shot, or did they film this in a studio? Which is just how it should be. It's so surreal because it's a snapshot in time of a moment that they'll never forget and that they might never have again, you know? This video is brilliant. Nice. I like the bookend. Fade in at the beginning, fade out at the start. 2018 summer package. I don't know what that means. Is Jungkook advertising his crotch? Who knows? Wow. Well, I hope that was informative or interesting or anything to you guys. I just nerded out hardcore, but that's a good thing. That means that I thought that was genius. Like, I think that is definitely my favorite G.C.F. yet. And why shouldn't it be? I mean, you know, the lad is just developing every single video. I've heard great things about the upcoming ones as well. I'm sad almost that there aren't actually any more. Like, in my head I was like, oh, there's 20, but I feel like I'm already more than halfway done. Hopefully he keeps making them. I'll always react to them. And like I said, if you guys want to suggest other stuff that isn't G.C.F. for me to react to as a video editor, I'll happily do that. But that was just fantastic. Like, the theme was just so consistent. Like, I think there was like a simplicity to it. Like, it was consistent. The way I edit sometimes is very like haphazard and brah, but like, you know, and that style works for some stuff, but like the message this conveyed was just perfect. Like, a completely surreal, out of body summery experience in a paradise, you know, complete, you know, a kind of place you only go like once in your life, you know, and that's what that video felt like. The kind of video you only watch once in your life, except I'll probably end up watching it again because that was really cool. Anyway, Jungkook, congratulations. You have my official seal of video editor endorsement, which doesn't mean anything, but yeah, you know, big props, man. That was a really cool video. I love what you did there. And I'm not even sure what you did there for some of it. I'm pretty sure, but you know, you can never know with video, and that's what I like about it. There's so many different ways to cook a fish, you know? There's so many different ways to hammer in a nail when it comes to video editing, and that's what I like about it. Because for somebody like me, who sometimes struggles with tutorials, or, you know, I just can't do things the way other people do it, you can invent your own way of doing something, and that's great. You know, it's like solving a puzzle. It's like putting together IKEA furniture, but with a chainsaw in my methods. Ha ha! All right. Okay. Really should stop talking now. I hope you guys enjoyed that reaction. Let me know what you want to see me react to next. Let me know if you want to see me react to more GCFs and other stuff like that. Hope you guys are having a lovely time. Don't forget to check out my Patreon and Discord. I'm doing Run BTS reactions on my Discord, and I'm having a really great time with that. So check that out in the description if you want. Have a lovely time. Be safe. Be indoors, depending on where you live. If you're in New Zealand, then, you know, damn you. I'll see you guys next time, and remember, if you like my breakdown of this GCF, then subscribe. Don't make me say WTF, because it's a swear, and that's bad on YouTube. I can't believe 30 minutes long.